Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Blazer Victory Podcast. John Duncan here, and of course, I'm joined as always with my co-host Darian Smith and Jimmy Marion. Whew. Unfortunately, UAB takes the L, 41-21 at home to the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. And guys, if this is what we're gonna see this UAB team be this year, we were talking in the chat in the text thread earlier. We were talking about. I think it was Darian that mentioned that we might not win another ball game, and I even took it a step further. We might not be competitive in another single ball game. And this is, I know this is, we might be overreacting. I mean, this is an instant reaction, but
It is not an overreaction, John.
Nah, man.
all
Yeah,
right,
this ain't no
No.
overreaction.
okay, all right. I'm gonna throw it to Jimmy. Jimmy, let's talk.
Jimmy, you got
What up?
schedule. You got the schedule in front of you, real quick.
Oh, let's not go through that schedule, man. I
No,
know I
nah,
can.
nah. Oh, I was about to cuss. John, we ain't cussing right here, are we?
No, we're not cussing you on the free show. Yeah, we'll save that for the Patreon.
I'm about to say, if it. Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Tell me where the win is at. Like, I, tell me where the win is
Hmm.
at. If this the product we putting out, tell me where the win is. Jimmy.
Shoot. Uh, well, before we talk about the rest of the schedule, we can recap this game real quick. Buy me. You see what I did there? I'm gonna buy myself a little bit more time and not directly answer your question, Darian.
Yeah, I
I'm
see.
gonna
I
I'm gonna
see.
circle back to that question that Darian had. Um, I don't know where to start. Uh, the game, the weather, the result. I mean, everything was just an off night
Yeah.
for UAB. I mean, it felt that way even before the rain delay. I was looking at. I wrote down a few notes. While we were sitting in the rain delay, and at that point in time, despite the game being tied 0-0, we had one carry for Skull. Uh, Tajon Palmer, Hooks had 0 targets. We were already 0 for 3 in third down. We had 52 total yards early in the second. So, I mean, just from the get go, the offense was stalling. I'm not quite sure, what was going on early. It was interesting because I liked that Jacobs was involved on the first possession, but then I looked up and Skull was not involved. And we talked about this. I think it was on our most recent show where I was saying that I really liked in the first game against NCAT where we had both of them involved, Skull in the passing game, Isaiah Jacobs on the ground, Skull on the ground as well. And then against Georgia Southern, we didn't see them utilized as much together. And then this game, I felt a little confused because Skull just wasn't involved early. And so I'll just kind of stop there before we go to after the rain delay because it gets a lot worse. And so, but those were just some things that even leading up to the rain delay, things were not going well. Is kind of my summary there.
Yeah, and before we go any further, this game recap episode and all of our game recap episodes this season are brought to you by Cahaba Brewing Company. One of my favorite pale ales is Cahaba Brewing's Pale Ale, really low ABV at 4%, and you can have a few tonight to kind of ease the pain of this loss. That's for sure. But definitely, if you haven't checked out Cahaba Brewing Company's tap room, go check them out. Really cool site. They've got more than beer, but they've got plenty of beer to go around. Over 26 beers on draft, and they've got cocktails too for if you have somebody that doesn't like beer, and they're over 21 or older. So definitely go check out them. Thank you again to Cahaba Brewing Company for sponsoring the podcast. And um, yeah, Darian, you you want to talk? Hey, real quick before we keep go any further too. Darian was supposed to have the night off. He had went on a date night with Shaniqua. It celebrated their anniversary, but Darian, you just had to jump on this one, right? Because this was just
I ain't
ugh.
no, bro. Like I'm just trying to watch my language because of course I've had a couple drinks, right? So it's funny because we went to the Birmingham Rays room. I already got my aggression out, right? So bam, we went there first. It was perfect. And then we got us some nice food, got some drinks. I feel good. Like I feel great. So I was recording the game. I was like, I already like I'm gonna miss the game. So I'm keeping up with it and I saw the rain delay. But before the rain delay, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like I'm looking at the stats like, is there something wrong? Like are we I know we're not performing like this. Now this is what I was thinking before the delay. So I'm not able to see what's going on. I'm just keeping up with it on Bleacher Report. So as I'm as I'm riding out, when we stopped by a friend's house, and we were still celebrating. I'm still keeping up with it on Bleacher Report. Like, all right, I'm gonna watch the recording, getting ready for the after review. I saw where it was headed. I'm like, oh, like, oh, what? So it just went from like I went to like this anger feeling, then I don't feel angry anymore. I have adjusted my expectations accordingly. I can't even tell you what happened in the game. I didn't see anything. I was just keeping up with it. So, John, if you could tell me, as a person that didn't see, I just kept up with it. Can you tell me what was going on before I start like another narrative of the game? Could you tell me what you saw from the
Yeah,
team?
yeah. I mean, it was just a pathetic performance on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. Jacob Zeno, I think he got sacked 7 times. Defense just getting run on like crazy. Could not stop a backup quarterback for Louisiana because keep in mind, if folks that don't know, their starting quarterback got hurt early on in the game before the rain delay. So this was a backup quarterback coming in. And I mean, he threw some dimes. He looked pretty good, but mainly just beating UAB with the run game. Like UAB could not stop him. We saw some of the tackling woes rear its ugly head again tonight, just like it did in Statesboro last week. And I mean, guys, they've got to get it together on the defensive side of the ball. And flipping real quick back to the offense, they couldn't convert on third down to save their life. Like this was a pathetic performance on both sides of the ball. And even on special teams, I mean, I guess the best thing that happened tonight was Matt Quinn finally connecting on a field goal, but we don't need him just celebrating on the sideline, getting a field goal down 27-3. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Did he miss like a 28-yarder again?
Yes. I just don't know. I really don't know. We've been told the want to is there from this team. I did not see any want to tonight. I saw players cutting up on the sideline, down 30 points, and not buying in. And this is not a good look. And this, let me be real. I do not, we see practice, Darian. We see what all goes into this. We do not see any of that in practice. So I do not know what the hell happened tonight. But this is a pathetic performance from this football team. And to do it wearing those special black uniforms for Smile Mile, like this is just like
Who did we lift up?
Literally nothing went right tonight. Weather was awful. Team looked like absolute garbage. Like there was nothing that went well tonight. This is just a miserable performance.
We were at home, like wearing Smile Mile uniforms, and like this is what we do. Man, listen, like, can y'all think of when was the last time we got beat like this at home? This is embarrassing, bro. Like,
I mean, it's got to be before 20. Hey, and real quick, we were giving crap to Jeff and them on Twitter for talking about, the last game reminded them of a Garrett McGee led team. I mean, tonight sure as hell looked like a Garrett McGee led team. And that's not acceptable. And I know Trent knows that. I know Alex Mortensen knows that. Sione Talfao knows that. Kenneth Gilstrap knows that.
And you know what? Yeah. This is where we kind of get in this weird spot. I did not want to be in this spot anymore. Like, we had to do all this explaining and stuff last year about our position in this, right? Like, we see these coaches. We know these coaches. We see these players. We know these players. We go in there and we have relationships with them, like real relationships with the coaches, some of the coaches and some of the players.
Right.
And then we have relationships with parents. Some of the parents of the players, it's a sensitive spot to be in our position because we have to be real. We have to be real, and we're not here to put a spin on anything. If anything, we amplify the voices of the fans. So people, I don't want anybody on the staff or anybody like, oh man, they giving up, they talking noise about us. Ain't nobody talking noise about y'all.
No,
This is
we
what
want
you.
these
This is
guys to
what
succeed. We want them to succeed.
exactly. We're the ones. If anything, we're gonna try to put a spin on whatever we can. We're gonna try to look at it from whatever perspective, positive perspective we can. Like that's what we're gonna try. There's no perspective positive on this. There's
Right.
none, zero. If
No.
somebody can show me a perspective that's positive with this, I welcome it. I really do. But if you want to know the truth, this is embarrassing. Like
Yeah.
coaching, player, like whatever you want to say though. However, I'm embarrassed, bro. We are the worst team in the AAC. Let's get that right. I'm gonna go. This is me talking. I tell any coach this. I tell any player this. We, as of right now, we are the worst team in the AAC until we prove otherwise. We don't have a position to. We don't have nowhere to talk from. Like what can we say? What have we done? What have we put out? You are what you put out, and you have to accept that reality. We are the worst until we fight our way out of it. So I don't have any expectations for this team. I don't. So adjust accordingly. I don't have any expectations. If we win the game, I'm gonna be happy. If you have it's like if you have a kid that play basketball, your kid is the worst kid on the team, and
Yeah.
and, and they put your kid in at the end of the game. you like
Uh-huh.
you like
Hey,
Lord, I
baby, if you
hope.
could just hit if you could just hit that free throw, baby, hey.
I'm
Get
gonna be
1 point. Get on
Everybody's
the
getting
board.
pizza tonight.
No, but hey, we are not handing out participation trophies. And
no
and
man.
what's even worse than this, like this is gonna fuel ammunition for the like Trent Dilfer haters and everybody that was skeptical about how this, if you want to put quotations on experiment in quotation, but this is just gonna fuel that side of things. And I
Because
and
we ain't been this bad in forever, bro. Like we haven't put out something like this in forever. BB didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, as of right now, I mean, they are right, but it's a long season. But man, this is bad.
you
This
hey,
is really bad.
you know how many text messages I got tonight saying should have kept BV. And these are from non UAB fans. These are just media and friends. Like
So again, I repeat, don't get mad at us. Like
no.
you don't get mad at the people that's covering and that's being honest. Because we are not here to put out BS. We are here. We want to see this program succeed just as much as they do, because we're a part of it all. But we have to be real. And you don't want nobody pumping you full of fake stories as if, oh man, this is just, we're gonna go back and we're gonna work on it, we're gonna watch the film. We did that. I thought we did that first of all, we did that with NCAT because we didn't have a great performance against NCAT, to be honest.
Hey, and
We, we
real quick, NCAT hadn't won a game. They've been blowing out every other game they play.
John, you went in their
so,
podcast and you just screwed up their whole season. They ain't winning a game now.
Yes.
and then
Well, UAB might not
yeah.
win another game.
If I was a betting man, I just don't see where the win come in at. And I will be happy to eat my words. Like, all right, let's throw Georgia out the window. Okay, we all know what's going on there. But like, if we somehow do something against Tulane or anybody, like, listen, I'll be the first to whatever y'all can. The listeners can tell me what I have to do if we win. But I will be happy to do it. I want this team to succeed. I want this staff to succeed.
And
But
they
man,
can, Darren, and they can though. I mean, like, even though taking what happened tonight, I will still say that I trust Trent Dilfer, but he might need to have some conversations with some of those on his staff. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Oh
Man,
yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead, Jimmy.
man, I was just gonna say, I know obviously Darian's gonna get a chance to see the game if he chooses to.
After review, patreon.com.
Yes, that's right. Plug the Patreon. If you think this is bad, just wait till the Patreon. So John, when I was sitting there, this season, there's just been a few of those like really critical errors at really bad times. Like we talked about before the rain delay, but you know, the fact that when we were driving down the field, after the Louisiana score, and then Zeno had that really backbreaking turnover, the interception in the end zone, and then Louisiana comes out in the very next play and the score on that 75-yard run by the quarterback. And that's something too that I'm really interested in is the fact that, Woodridge went down on the first drive, and you mentioned it earlier, John. The redshirt freshman quarterback came in and um, you know, I was sitting there during the rain delay and thinking like, yeah, this guy's definitely going to play a different type of style, than Wooldridge. Not that Wooldridge couldn't run, but this guy's an athlete. And I was sitting there during the rain delay thinking like, who's going to come out and scheme it up right? Like, it's not going to be at that point. He had already came in, so it wasn't like a complete shock. I mean, the staff had 90 minutes to go back to the locker room and
Yeah.
say,
And
you
he was
know,
driving them on that drive because when the weather delay, weren't they already at like the 15 or 20-yard line? Like they had
they're at the
already
20-yard line. Yes.
Yeah.
They're at the 20-yard line. And so I'm sitting there and you're thinking about both locker rooms. Like you had the game plan Louisiana side where they were going with Wooldridge, their starter, and then they had their backup come in and they can flip the game plan. And then you've got the 90 minutes where UAB is trying to also reassess what's not working offensively, but also go out there and like make some adjustments for I wanted to call him Zion. What was his name? John? It was something with a Z, but I kept thinking about Zion during the game because he was just like killing us.
I don't know.
Um,
Yeah. Looked like Zion Webb out there, for Jacksonville State.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't
it's,
know his name, man.
yeah, but for me, like Darren, you're gonna see it, man. It's just like really critical, backbreaking turnovers. In the second half, for me, like some of the story was just like near misses. Like the commentators kept talking about it, like if that ball was thrown like a little bit better, that would have been a score. There was a throw in the sideline to Amari Thomas that should have been like an easy score. That ended up being a big game, but it was a near miss. And there was just first half, it was just critical, backbreaking turnover. John mentioned some of the other errors in the second half. It was just near misses to even like get back in the ball game. Then the wheels came off, and it was just completely spiraling the whole time. And so, and I want to say this before we hop is speaking of getting some listener feedback, I need someone to explain to me why we went out after what had to have been the saddest Blazer Thunder in UAB football history, and we bring the offense out onto the field, and
Fourth
it's
and 18.
fourth and 18, and we bring the O out, and we try to draw an offsides to get it to 4th and 13. We're down 31
Get
points.
out of here.
Bro,
Like,
even the
Get the F outta
ESPN
here.
Plus announcer was like, I don't even know what they're doing. Like, I can't.
He was speechless, and I was speechless in our group text. John had to text me and make sure I was alive, and that was when I said, guys, what did we just do? What was that? Last thing I'll say is towards the end of the game they talked about how Louisiana had their entire coaching staff come back from last year's team, and it showed. Like it was obvious.
Yeah. It's so much growth that has to take place on this. And I'm really, really picking and choosing my words. Like I'm struggling right now
Yeah,
because
we're gonna have to wrap, yeah, because I don't want us to say
yeah,
something.
yeah, I'm really, really picking and choosing my words right now. But it's just embarrassing, bro. Like it's to the point to where I'm not even mad, and that's sad. Like when your parents not even mad, they're disappointed. It gets to a point where you just gotta laugh, like all right, well it is what it is. There ain't no use in being upset. So if I can tell Blazer Nation something, I'll just be like, well, don't be upset. Like don't be mad. They gotta figure it out. We can't play, we can't coach, we support. But this is what, if it's anything that upsets me the most, we were coming into the AAC, right? And we had this hype. and we had some kind of momentum. We were feeling good, and we were saying, I was like, you know what? It's not even about the wins and the losses. If you can go back and listen to our old podcast, it's like we have a new team. We had a lot of holdovers, but we got a lot of new starters and a lot of new players playing. We got a whole new coaching staff basically. It wasn't about wins and losses. It was about how we look during during the games. And the way that we've looked is not inspiring at all. There's nothing about it that gives you hope or gives you momentum into wanting the crowd to come out. So what kind of crowd are we gonna have the next game? Like you can't be mad at Birmingham if they don't come out because what have you gave them to come out and support? So now we've lost all kind of momentum. Forget a week two loss. Forget the week two blues. What week are we gonna like? I don't. What do we have to look forward to right now? You know. So I just hate that we done lost momentum, and we probably done lost a lot of support, and a lot of people are looking at us and they're laughing. And I hate that for this team because there's a lot of talented guys. And I know how much work that the coaching staff has put in. They put in a lot of sleepless hours, and for this to be
Yes.
the result, to put
Yeah.
for this to be the result is just really, really sad. So yeah, I curse more on the Patreon.
Patreon.com/blazerpod. We are only 3 away from 100. So, hey, $5 a month gets you exclusive access to many episodes each month. Or you can join annually and save 10% off by
We're
doing
just
so.
we're just a field goal away from 100.
Well,
Oh, my.
I mean,
Look, and I'm going to be real, too, before we wrap.
we might not get it.
We know
Oh Lord.
certain people listen to us and have been listening to us that are, I don't know, Darian, how should I put it? I'm trying to be careful with my words. I'll just say,
That I would. What we
so
looking for?
we have people that are on the staff or a player on the team that listen to us. We support you 100%. Do not take this as like we were just. I mean, we're disappointed. I mean, I know you're disappointed. You everybody in that building ought to be disappointed in this performance. If they're not, they need to go. But
Yo, it's almost midnight, man, and we're coming off a really disappointing loss. I mean, I get what you're saying, John, that we're fans, like we're emotional. That's what this instant immediate reaction show is all about. So we're going to continue doing this pod and taking time and the investment that we do to put this on, and we do it for the awesome fans and the awesome supporters. But to John's point, like we've been going to games for a long time. Darian was on the field, as a Blazer. I mean, we're gonna keep showing up. We're gonna keep showing out, and we're gonna keep supporting this staff. But we got to keep it real when we have extremely disappointing nights like tonight. So, and it does make it a little bit easier, at least for me, to have a little bit of comic relief after having watched what we just witnessed, right?
yes, for sure.
And I can also tell you this. I was on the team. I was captain of the team. I've been part of blowouts on the losing end. I know how I feel to lose hope. I know how I feel. But I had to find pride within myself and my offensive line unit. I had to stop caring about I can't control what other players or coaches do. But I'm going to play the best I can and my offensive line is gonna I don't know I don't know what's gonna happen, but we're gonna do our thing. So I know how it feels as a player. Trust me, I know. So people can say what they want to say or they can feel how they want to feel, but I've been through it, lived through it. I'm here with you guys. We are all here with you guys. But this is the reality of it. So don't put your head in the sand or and be mad at everybody for saying something negative. This ain't negative. It's not negative. It's reality. So the best thing you can do is okay, this is where we at. This is what we deserve. It's still a long season. You can work your way out of it. But as of right now, what do you expect us to expect? So hey, just start from here. You're at the bottom. You're at the bottom. If you want to keep on digging to the bottom, go ahead. Go ahead. All right. It ain't, but we're not playing anymore. We can disconnect. We can. We're still gonna cover it, but your guys, it's the people in the building that's gonna feel it the most. It's their lives. So I mean, again, we're here. Hopefully we'll see some kind of bounce back coming.
Correct. And hey, Darren, Jimmy, if Drake can start from the bottom and get to where he is, then UAB can do the same thing.
Yep. We're the worst.
All right. Well, UAB falls to 1-2 overall, and they will end non-conference play next week against Georgia. We'll be back on Blazer Victory podcast to get you ready for that game in just a couple of days. But as always, we'll have a bunch of stuff on the Patreon. So patreon.com/BlazerPod.
UAB stuns Georgia. UAB stuns Georgia. Oh my God. This is the biggest upset ever. Can you guys hear? Can y'all see that?
Mm-mm.
He said no. Hey, we can get that. Hey, get that paycheck from Athens, and don't get anybody hurt. And
What's that one meme? Bring me my money. You know,
bring me my money.
so,
All right. Hey, yeah, Jimmy, go ahead and close us out for this evening.
Blazer Nation, just blaze.